Good afternoon. These are the Kofa Mountains back here, and the sun's fixing to set over there. So let's take one last break and talk some anime.
Gun Frontier.
Every now and then you run into a video that's really weird and unexpected. Gun Frontier is weird like that. The 2002 TV series carries manga creator Leiji Matsumoto's name, and the two main characters share a name and likeness to his classic space opera heroes, space pirate Captain Harlock and his best buddy Tochiro. But the twist is, these aren't the characters we know and love from outer space. These are some alternate world parodies of them dropped into a parody of the American Old West. Frank Harlock is a deadly fast gunslinger. He's more talkative than his space pirate look-alike ever was. He and his short Japanese pal, Tochiro, are wandering from town to town across the arid wilderness that's collectively called the Gun Frontier. Early on, they try to make a living as bodyguards.
預かれんと逃すとぶち殺されんだ。危ないかな。そこまでだおっさん。なんで撃ったんやねんか。なんでって第二次的強盗事件が。
This pair of heroes soon meets the lovely Shinonora, a truly liberated woman with mysterious motives, and she invites herself along for the ride with them. The running plot of this series is simple enough. Tochiro is searching for his lost little sister who disappeared along with the rest of Tochiro's people. That's a tribe of immigrant Japanese swordsmen whose settlement at Samurai Creek was massacred. The survivors of that Samurai Creek massacre still have not been found. Tochiro's search soon uncovers a plot involving a sinister group known only as the Organization and its shadowy leader. The plot is more a framework to dress up with comedy skits and farce than real story. Lots of the towns they wander into have absurd societies. It's like a series of stopovers on the Galaxy Express 39 where the writers are all high on peyote. Matsumoto fans may recall that there's a place called Gun Frontier in his manga and anime universe of Captain Harlock and the Galaxy Express stories. It's an area of some ill-defined planet that's similar to the American Old West, more like Firefly's universe. To be honest, when I saw the DVD cover, I was expecting stories of Harlock and Tochiro's early days on Gun Frontier. The real Harlock and Tochiro, I mean. I wasn't expecting this reinvention at all, but there's no sign of any sci-fi element at all, and those spaceships come calling and no one pulls out a blaster. It's mid-1800s, more John Ford's Old West, and this is not my Harlock. One running joke is that Tochiro's eyesight is so bad that when he shoots, he can't hit the broadside of a barn. Luckily, he's pretty good with his samurai sword. Tochiro will get lynched 4 times in the 13-episode series, and the runt has a really tough neck. I won't say that I never laughed, but it wasn't often enough. The novelty of Harlock as a gunfighter wore off by the 2nd episode, and it didn't have much more than sophomoric humor to fall back on. These stories really hate women. They're all deceitful, traitorous bitches existing only to be rescued or stripped, degraded, and abused, or perhaps just to sacrifice themselves for their man, or perhaps all 3. There's frequent nudity, bondage, a few attempted rapes, some consensual hanky-panky, and plenty of nudity, and lots of leering innuendo to go with the whole thing.
Can't remember that. You see, Noguson and I are brothers, and together, we have total control over the press and the law in this fair town of ours.
Then why do you have that missing person ad in the paper?
Imagine combining Harlock and Tochiro with the old Wild Wild West TV show and blending it with some sophomorically titillating action animes such as Aika. Or imagine an animation studio accidentally mistook some piece of fan fiction for their real storyboards. So, will Tochiro find out what happened to his people at Samurai Creek and what became of his little sister? Well, while there's some plot advancement, it's really a setup for a sequel. Please no. The series direction is credited as Suichiro Zen, a name that returns absolutely nothing on Google except Gun Frontier, so I assume it's a pseudonym for someone with too much self-respect to use his real name on this. The character designs are by Keisuke Masunaga, who provided the designs for other recent Harlock-related animes such as Cosmo Warrior Zero and Emeraldus. The animation, credited to Vega Entertainment, who also worked on those other 2 titles, is competent enough. The soundtrack includes a lot of guitar twanging and westernish riffs, plus a fast-paced J-pop opening. The Media Blaster's English dub is okay. They got a chance to do a lot of their cliched western voices. Sadly, I give Gun Frontier only 2 stars. It's not funny enough to be a good comedy, and I found its attempts to be racy closer to pathetic. Maybe I just couldn't put aside my expectations, but I found it more sad than anything else. If they make a sequel, I'm not interested. I'd like to think Matsumoto's only involvement with this was to cash the royalty checks, because I can't believe I'm giving a thumbs down to anything Leiji Matsumoto created. Media Blasters has released Gun Frontier in North America on 4 DVDs. They've tossed in some dubbing outtakes for extras, which is about as funny as the rest of the DVD.
Thanks for listening.